Fourth and last day here at Desert Springs in this ICC Women's 2020 International Pentagonal Series. We've got the morning match, we've got a crucial match. We've got Sweden versus Spain. First of all, we've got a presentation from Elspeth, the Spain manager, to Gunjan. It's a lovely commemorative plaque of the tournament. Fourth and last day here at Desert Springs in this ICC Women's 2020 International Pentagonal Series. We've got the morning match, we've got a crucial match. We've got Sweden versus Spain. First of all, we've got a presentation from Elspeth, the Spain manager, to Gunjan. It's a lovely commemorative plaque of the tournament. Spain have presented that to every team now. We've got our captains, Mark and Nilkesh, ready. Mark, I think you're going to pass the coin to Gunjan. Gunjan, toss it nice and high, please. Hey, Gunjan, you've won a toss. What are you going to do this morning?
We will gonna bowl first. Yeah, we want to try our bowlers, seamers. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, looking forward for the game after the yesterday's victory.
Okay, so all through this tournament, you've told me what you would have done if you'd won the toss, so you actually got a answer, mate.
Exactly, yeah. We were lucky yesterday, so I think we can create some momentum from here and looking forward for the second game as well. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to have a field first, take advantage of a little bit of moisture in the pitch, also the outfield being a bit slower. Is that part of your thinking?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, well, best of luck for today's game. I know you got two today, so you've got to really sort of divide your energies, but we look forward to seeing you in the first game. Thanks for your time. Warmed up. Okay, Elspeth. 9 o'clock start. We're into the winter series. It's still autumn here. You're going to have a bat at 9 o'clock. Challenges there?
Yeah, it's pretty dewy outfield again. I'd have liked to have fielded first, but I seem not to have much luck when I'm calling. But it's what it is. We'll do our best. We'll try and stay in the 20 overs like yesterday, get a decent score, and I back our bowlers, our fielding. I think we can defend on here and not give away too many extras.
Double challenges as you got back-to-back games, and when they say back-to-back, then they really mean it in this tournament because there's hardly any gap at all between games. So, well, we're going to have a challenge of how we're going to do the toss now that you're going to be in the field second. But are your girls fit and raring to go?
Yeah, everyone has aches and pains, but I think all the teams are the same. But we're ready. We've got the momentum, and we're going to leave everything out there on the field today.
Excellent. Well, thanks for your time. And just to confirm that, so Sweden have won the toss and they've elected to field. Por eso que estás aquí hoy. Ya estás regresando, ya estás en el aeropuerto. ready to go in the middle. Just kick off this fourth and final day of this ICC 2020 International Pentagonal Series. It's Sweden who have elected to field in this opening encounter of the day against the host Spain. And start off with a dot ball. Pyle is facing up the first ball. First strike of the day. Imali Jayasuriya, the bowler. Payal Chalongi has had a very good tournament with both bat and ball, solid performances. With the rain on the first day, this is just Spain's third match of the tournament. Unbeaten so far. As Jayasuriya employs testing line outside the off stump. Good morning to you, wherever you're watching from. As we have our first appeal of the day. Doesn't appear to test umpire Mark Chappell too much. Gave it its due consideration, but was fairly comfortable in giving that not out. So welcome to this broadcast. My name's Andrew Elliott. I'm going to be bringing you commentary throughout the day. And there's a run-out chance. Field with a clean take. Jayasuriya. That would have had Payal struggling, but Spain opened their account with that run. And Payal Chalongi keeps the strike. She's out there with her captain, Elspeth Fowler, who lost the toss early today. It was actually Sweden that were the first named team on the sheet, so they were the ones that got to toss the coin. Elspeth called incorrectly. And Sweden decided to take advantage of these early morning conditions here. It is a beautiful day in Desert Springs, which is in the province of Almeria, southern Spain. But it is autumn, so there's a lot of dew on the ground. And as usual, Gunjan Shukla, the captain, is one of the two opening bowlers, bowling left arm over from the Crocodile club end. And it's a wide ball, called by umpire Nilkesh Patel, who's umpired all 4 days of this championship. For the last 3 days of this tournament, I've been joined by Thea Brooks. Unfortunately, she is on her way back to England via Alicante. I hope she's made it that far so far, because I think flight's in the next couple of hours. So Thea, I hope you're listening. I know that you've really enjoyed this championship and that you're keen to find out how it pans out between work commitments. Well, we've got away on time this morning, you'll be glad to know. Hope your flight's on time. That means that I am ostensibly alone today, although I am hoping to have some guests with me. Another appeal for LBW. It's an early awakening call for Spain captain Elspeth Fowler. A quiet start this for Spain. Well, been a feature this morning, LBW appeals, but none given. Fairly speculative appeals, but after 2 overs, Spain are 5 for no wicket. Himali Jayasuriya to continue from the Bera end. That one comfortably down the leg side. They will take at least an extra run. Fielded by Sophie Elemiso. El Messio. I have no idea how to pronounce that name, and I will find out before this tournament's out. That's a very tentative start from Spain, just looking to get used to these early morning conditions. Because we often talk about the pitch doing a bit extra and the ball holding up in the outfield, but of course the flip side of that is the bowlers will be bowling with the wet ball. I see plenty of fielders out there with towels tucked into their trousers, and it's just that little bit more difficult to grip the ball. It's greasy in the hand. Misfielded at square leg. Just an awkward bounce just in front as Elspeth Fowler tucked that off her legs, slightly uppish. Gave the fielder a bit of a chance, a sighter, thoughts of a catch, but just bounced awkwardly in front of her. Managed to get through. Fowler takes 2. So through 3 overs, with a scoring rate of 3. No loss of wickets so far for Spain, which will be a source of comfort for them as they look to weather these favourable conditions for the bowlers. Gunjan Shukla to continue. Wide ball down the leg side. Gunjan just has struggled a little bit with her line in this tournament. It's bowled steadily, but the occasional one just leaks out. That one going comfortably down the leg side. Nice drive from Chilungia. Finds the fielder, but opportunity for a quick single. Thoughts of a run out, I think. Not quite sure what's happened here, but Payal Chilungia is on the ground. Faces of concern around. Oh, waving for some assistance, so that low sun this morning, difficult to see exactly what happened. I'm just quiet. They're just communicating with our production team at Audi Obisualis Murcia to see whether we can get a replay of exactly what happened. Judging by the treatment she's getting, I think it might just have turned an ankle, might have slipped as she pushed for that run. She's breathing quite heavily there, so it might have been quite some trouble. More people are being invited onto the outfield to help. Well, unfortunately, looks like Payal Chilongia has had to retire. Not out, of course, due to the injury she's picked up there. And that's comprehensively bowled, captain to captain. Gunjan Shukla getting the better of Elspeth Fowler as that ball was speared in, and Elspeth Fowler just played around it, lost her leg stump in spectacular fashion. Lovely sight for the bowler. So, bit of trouble for Spain as they effectively lose both their openers in the same over. We hope that Payal Chilongia will be able to return after a little bit of treatment. But it's one of the batters of the tournament coming out now. Naomi Hillman Bermejo, who has impressed so far with 2 scores in the 40s. Naomi just turned 16 in September. Plays her cricket in England at Hursley Park Cricket Club, Hampshire. But she was born in Madrid, lived the first 7 years of her life here in Spain, and remains fluent in Spanish, although she did admit to a little bit of rustiness from having spent 9 years outside Spain now, but she does come back here regularly for cricket and also for holidays to see relatives. Also Saeed, who came in at 3, is actually just about to face her first ball. And those anomalies in cricket where, well, it could be her last ball because she's been run out, clipped the ball firmly off her legs and set off immediately for a single. Naomi Hillman Bermejo wasn't interested, and Uswa Saeed had some problem turning, whether that's through lack of spikes or just the moisture still prevails here. Couldn't get back in time. Little fumble by the keeper, but managed to take the bails off. So a run out after facing her first ball for 0. Uswa Saeed, and the pavilion gate resembling a little bit of a turnstile at the moment as Spain batters come in and out with regularity. Only 2 wickets down, but of course the retirement also of Payal Chilongia. Not so much a fumble, the keeper, but appeared to miss the stumps with the first attempt and had to go back with the gloves to take the bail off. Well, that's a team hat-trick. They're on a team hat-trick here. That's a soft caught and bowled. Wana Arif Malik comes in, strokes the first ball back to the bowler. Good catch. And we've had 3 wickets and a retirement now in the space of just over and over. Looks to me that Amy Brown Carrera is the new batter in. Some more positive intent from Amy Brown Carrera, but not quite finding the timing as she looked to force through the offside. There's evidence there of the ball being wet. So the fielder was winding up to throw, just slipped out the back of the hand, allowing the second run. Ayman Asim there, fortunately losing control of the ball. Naomi Hillman Bermejo faces up to her second ball, looking for a first run. And Sienna Linden has replaced her captain from the Crocodile Club end. And good looking forcing shot, but this is where the struggle is. First bounce after she struck the ball, took all the pace out of the ball and easily fielded it mid-on. Later in the day that might skip away, challenge the fielder more, but with the dew on the ground. Just slowing the ball up. So, testing conditions for the batters. 9 o'clock start here at Desert Springs in the province of Almeria. We're enjoying bringing live coverage of this to you. As that, let's get some extra bounce on that ball from Sienna Linden. And takes the shoulder of the bat, loops towards gully fielder, backward point, but falls safely. And this time does get it past the fielder. Will go all the way to long on for 4. Naomi Hillman Bermejo just pouncing on that shorter ball. Getting good part of the middle on it. Enough on it to get it past the wideish mid-on fielder. Well, this one through the fielder, but hit with sufficient power to test Imali Jayasuriya through the nutmeg and away for 4. So what difference that makes to Spain after this trying start. 2 boundaries off the last 2 balls of the power play. And that brings their score up to 22 for 3. 4 dots to start that over, and then 2 boundaries at the end. And that accounts for Naomi Hillman Bermejo's 8 runs. She's faced 7 balls now. Amy Brown Carrera, it will be, to face up. And Niha Kayani will have her first bowl of the day. That's nicely timed into the offside by Amy Brown Carrera. Someone wasn't quite ready there. Dead ball called. Umpire Mark Chappell. Well, no ball's been called. That's a very loopy full toss. Having been called on height. So I have our first free hit of the day. And Naomi Hillman Bermejo elects to come down the pitch to take it on the full. Times it away nicely. Wide of the wide long on. Cannot quite get around to cut it off. So things starting to tick along for Spain. That's another full toss. Hit into the deep. And they contemplate a second. Sienna Miller. Correction. Sienna Linden, who is in customary sweeping position, cuts that off efficiently. Gets the ball in quickly enough to discourage the second. A couple of identities I'm struggling with today. Managed to call the umpires at the toss the captains, and now I've confused Sienna Linden with a Hollywood actress. A profitable over for Spain comes to an end. 33 for 3 score. Type of score line that would please my co-commentator Thea Brooks. All the threes. It has been great to have Thea here for the last 3 days, but unfortunately she has to return to her day job today at Wellington College in Berkshire. Hockey and cricket training for Thea today, which is why she isn't with me. So for those that have tuned in to listen to Thea, I apologise that you have to put up with me today. As Sienna Linden starts with a high full toss, called no ball. 2 taken, so 3 runs in total, plus whatever comes off this forthcoming free hit. Just, I think the Sweden captain just forgot the regulations. There was a change of field happening, but Nilkesh Patel's told her that's not possible off a free hit. So here goes that free hit. And Naomi Hillman Bermejo. Oh, that was coming down the pitch. I think it was coming down for the second time. It was a low ball from Sienna Linden. And eagle-eyed Nilkesh Patel just spotted that there was a rag on the outfield, which had fallen out of fielder's trousers. So asking them to pick up, but been dropped on the floor again. So some issues there. As mentioned, most of the fielders have got some type of towel or rag to dry the ball in these early morning dewy conditions. As Amy Brown Carrera hits that for 4. Shortish ball, but hit it on the up. Straight of long off He did get a hand to it, but couldn't stop it. So this partnership blossoming now. And it's a no ball, another free hit. Not sure from my vantage point at 45 on the boundary what the no ball was for, whether it was an overstep or bounce twice or bounce off the pitch. Just a reminder that I'm looking to keep my eye on the live action. You can see what you can see on your monitors. I look to try and bring you the things that you can't see. Noise levels are building. The Spain dugout. They're starting to get more and more enthusiastic about this innings as this pair of players based in England rebuild the Spain innings. Shaky start. 3 quick wickets and unfortunate retirement of Payal Chilongia. We hope that she's receiving treatment and we will see her back. And this time it's a full toss down the leg side from Sienna Linden. Called wide. So this is becoming a long over. 3 illegal balls already. Does get through a 9 ball over. Just conceding that single off the last ball. .48 for 3 off 8 overs, so up to a runner ball for Spain. Looks like Sophie Elmessiou is going to have a bowl. First of the day, slightly slingy action Sophie has. And if anybody is listening to this coverage that can help me with the pronunciation of her surname, I'd be very grateful, because I'm sure it's not the way that I'm pronouncing it. It's a full toss. Would you believe it? A loopy full toss. Amy Brown Carrera goes to sweep it, misses it completely, and is given out LBW. And really means a lot to the Sweden team. They gather together. Lots of whooping and hollering for that wicket as we look again. Once again, difficult for us to see the exact line of the ball because of the camera angle, but I can tell you that it was going to hit the stumps, and I know this because Mark Chappell gave it out. So, not quite the innings that Amy Brown-Carrera would have been hoping for, or perhaps even threatened to provide. She was batting very well, but made that fatal error of missing a straight ball. Wide down the leg side. And there's another LBW appeal from another full toss. Not given this time. Third LBW appeal for the over, but I think I heard a little bit of bat on that one. But Sophie has bowled, struggled for control in this tournament on the few times that she's bowled, but by a lot more threatening line in this over. Already achieved the dismissal of Amy Brown-Carrera as we get a full toss. My angle at deep extra cover. I was expecting a wide there, but maybe that went between the legs of the striker. Hifsa Butt, who's been out of the side previously, gets a chance today and nearly overcommits herself to a run, but manages to scramble back, prevent the run out. So, good over from Sophie Elmissou. Just a wide ball and a wicket. So she'll be very pleased with that. Just so only one run off the over, 49 for 4 after 9. Anya Vaidya is going to bowl from the Crocodile Club end. And this just slips down the leg side. Naomi Hillman Bermejo decides to take the wide rather than have a dart at it. Anya Vadia just struggling with her line. She has her first bowl of the day. Did quite a bit of bowling yesterday. Might just be easing a bit of stiffness out of the shoulder. That, no more loosening required there. That's a comprehensive off stump, uprooted. And Butt has to go. That registering a run, just struggled a bit to get the ball away, Hifsa Butt, during that innings. Muskan Nasib is the latest in. And, well, it hasn't been an ideal start from Spain. And it's just got a little bit worse as off stump uprooted has been followed by middle stump. Muskan Nasib goes back first ball. And Anya Vadia is on a hat-trick. Haven't had a hat-trick in this competition yet. Had a couple of opportunities for a hat-trick. None yet converted. Oh, just checking setup here. And looks to me that Payal Chilungia has managed to return to the crease. That's really good news. After the injury she picked up earlier, she's obviously had the appropriate treatment. She's ready to resume her innings. Walked out a little bit gingerly. And well, Spain will be hoping that she can, the good news that she's able to bat. She'll be able to stop the rot a little here. Flurry of wickets. Anyway, Vadia on a hat-trick. Threatens low full toss. A couple of fielders celebrating a catch, but very clearly played into the ground. So, hat-trick avoided. And Payal Chilungia is on her way again. Managed to get to 3 earlier before picking up that injury. That's a good over from Anya Vadia. Struggled a little bit with the line to begin with, but finishes up. 2 for 4 off the over. Sophie to continue. Payal Chilungit certainly moving well between the wickets there for taking that single, so that's good to see. It's lofted towards mid-on. The fielder there can't collect it. It's Jayasuriya. And it gets through for 2 runs. Himali Jayasuriya just wringing her hands, as that took probably a couple of finger ends in the attempt of the catch. This one's worked away for 4 by Naomi Bermejo, excuse me. Trace in vain. Chilongia striking that one away very nicely through the offside, through cover point. And again, it's lovely to see her moving so well. Twelve overs completed here at Desert Springs, and Spain moved on to 71 for 6. Somewhat shakily, but slightly deceptive scoreline because we have got their batter of the tournament so far, Naomi Bermejo, in on 31. And Payal Chilongia is actually their opening bat, who had to retire earlier with an injury, but has been able to come back in. So they will feel that 6 wickets maybe doesn't quite fully represent the position they're in, but just 1 wicket and that can all change. And well, it's a rather wild shot attempted by Payal Chilongia, actually called a wide. And it's second wide for the over. Another wide in this over, so Sophie, having found some consistency in this match, has just lost the radar a little in this over. As her captain throws the ball out while she wasn't watching, and it hits her on the ankle, a little bit painful. Well, like all the good pros, she's got someone at mid-off drying the ball for her. She doesn't use up energy doing that herself. And just appears to have found a line again in the last couple of balls. A chance at square leg, top edge off the full toss, but a bit too much on the ball to bring that in. And we're through 13 overs now, Spain having reached 77 for 6. Whatever aspirations they might have for a total in the 20 overs will depend on wickets lost. One of these two gets out, will bring number 9 in. And Spain's tail doesn't look the strongest. Change of bowling. Rashmi Ganjagunte Sumasheka comes onto bowl. And if you think that you can pick up the sound of distant thunder, it's actually the Italy squad coming past the back of us on the way to the net facility here at Desert Springs with their kit bags. They'll be up in the next match. Spain back-to-back matches this morning. It'll be tough on them, but that is due to the rain on the first day. The first two matches of the tournament were effectively abandoned, but it's been decided to play them in their original order. This would have been, in normal circumstances, this would have been the last match of the round robin, and that would have been followed by a third, fourth place playoff and then a final. But in order to get the same amount of cricket and fairness into the round robin, it's decided just to play the full round robin and decide the championship that way. So Spain, who were down to play the first and last matches of the round robin, now means that the first match of the tournament will be played after this one. I hope that's clear. Spain-Italy will be the next match on at 12 o'clock Central European time, followed by the tournament closer, which will be Sweden, who are in the field at the moment, against the Isle of Man. Well, the hills around this Desert Springs ground looking magnificent this morning as the sun begins to fully burn off early morning mist. As Naomi Hillman Bermejo forces one through the offside for a single. Okay, yeah. Bit skiddy, but what do you expect? Low trajectory.
When I took this down last night,
I can imagine. I haven't been to the office yet, no. It's nowhere. Send a message. Okay. Oh, very nearly caught and ball from Sophie there. That was hit back really hard, and she didn't flinch. It just looked like got the hard part of the hands towards the wrist on the ball, fell immediately to the ground. But good effort at the caught and bowled. Oh, that's really good effort in the deep from Sienna Linden to take that lofted shot off the full toss. Just bounced out, couldn't quite collect it. Only one run taken. "15 overs done here at Desert Springs, and Spain move on to 88 for 6. Naomi Hillman Bermejo has moved on to 35. And Payal Chilongia on 20. Steady over, 5 singles coming off it, the last 5 balls from Sophie. Monsieur. Oh, it's a reverse. I think the first we've seen in the tournament. A reverse dab from Naomi Hillman Bermejo. Very well played, safely played to what was third man for a single. Just looking at the field here, and Sweden have 2 sweepers out and everyone else in the circle. Pao Chilongia looks to take advantage of that loose ball, but can't make the contact. And second reverse attempted, not quite so successful. And Naomi Hillman Bermejo looks a little irritated with herself. That maybe it's time to go back to the orthodox. But what she has done is she's prompted a move in the field as short third man is pushed wider. It's pushed finer indeed. Rashmi Ganjagunte Sumasheka. A good line in this over, other than the wides, and looks like she's starting to frustrate Naomi Hillman Bermejo, who I think has played and missed at this one. Just check with the umpire. No, it looks like there was an edge on that one, so that's a drop chance. Takes the single. .93 for 6, the score after 16 overs. And well, with 4 wickets remaining and 4 overs, Spain will look to start to push things on now, and we'll have hopes of getting that target up above a runner ball. Imali Jayasuriya is going to return from the bearer end. And starts with a wide down the leg side. Full complement. 4 fielders out now. Reminder that in women's 2020 internationals, there is a couple of changes in the fielding regulations. The fielding circle is 25 yards instead of 30, and in the non-power play overs, the maximum of 4 allowed out of the circle instead of 5. This one's punched straight of the cover fielder, leaves long off to come round. Clear up, 2 runs the result. Well, that single represents Naomi Hillman Bermejo's 3rd consecutive 40-plus score in 2020 internationals, those being the only 3 2020 internationals that she's played in her career. Coming out once, so her average currently rides above 120. And she only turned 16 in September, so it's a great start to her international career. As this is, well, initially I heard a call of wide ball, but that's been corrected to no ball, which I think was based on height. So we've got a free hit. 3 overs to go. Spain have brought up their 100. And also, with that wide, they take their scoring rate above 1 per ball. So that target, initial target of 120, should be well within their scope now, barring a collapse. It's Gunjan Shukla, the Norway captain, returns from the Crocodile Club end. Well, that's our third reverse shot played in the tournament, and so far 2 out of 3 success rate for Naomi Hillman Bermejo. Gunjan Shukla has struggled a little with her line throughout this tournament, starting this over off with a couple of wides. The left-hander Payal Chilongia on strike now, who works that away for a single. So 3 extra balls in this over so far. Gunjan Shukla was a league ball, so avoids the ignominy of a 10-ball over. And that takes the score to 109 after 18 overs. Switch of ends for Anna Vaidya. 9 balls left in this innings. And I've got my first guest of the day in the commentary box. Just sneaking in before the end of the innings. It's the Isle of Man's very own Becky Corkish.
Hello, thank you for having me on here.
How are you, Becky?
I'm very well.
Are you okay? Are you okay with the technology? You can probably hear a bit of
Yes.
crackling.
Techno whiz, don't you worry.
Very sensitive, the microphones we've got here. You got a bit of time off today, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got a nice little break this morning. Enjoy the weather, get a few more views in place, and then look forward to the game later.
A few more views of?
Hills and a bit more grass.
Yeah, well, we're in the desert here, so there's not that much grass when you get away from the cricket ground, but hills, mountains, sierras, whatever you want to call them.
Not so different from the Isle of Man, though.
Well, I'm going to want to come on to that, but we might have time in this innings because we've only got 7 balls left. But I don't know if you've got time to stick around after the change of innings to have a chat about cricket in the Isle of Man.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
And the Isle of Man generally.
Oh, absolutely. You've picked the right person for that.
I notice just as we come to the last ball of the 19th, I think that's going to be a bye. Didn't hear a call of a wide ball from the umpire. Yes, bye confirmed. So that's 113. That was a good over from Anya Vaidya. Just managing to get that run rate back down below 6. Crucial runner ball. So Spain will be looking for at least 7 off this last over. I've just noticed out the corner of my eye you've got a transfer on your arm, as we used to call them at school.
Yes.
And I think, is that called the 3-legged cross?
With the 3 legs of man.
3 legs of man.
That's the one. The triskelion.
The triskelion. Is it ever called the 3-legged cross?
No, not in my 25 years of living. No.
Okay, all right. I think that might be. I'm from Surrey, and in bordering Berkshire, I think there's a pub with that sign, and I think the pub's called the 3-legged cross.
The 3-legged cross.
I think that's where I may be getting it from.
Might have to communicate with them and get that changed.
Well, I can tell already we're getting a prelude to what we might get in the second innings here. Obviously, fiercely proud of the Isle of Man. I want to know. I've never been there, so when we get to the second innings, I want to hear much more about it. And we're going to put your each player in your squad was asked to come up to one interesting thing about themselves, which is always putting people on the spot. But we have mentioned it on commentary, I think. Well, I didn't want a spoiler alert, so we're going to be investigating that as well. So lots to look forward to in the second innings, Becky.
Absolutely, can't wait.
So back to this match as we come into the last throws of this innings. Captain Gunjan Shukla taking the responsibility of that last over as they look to push 2 here, and a throw just wide, giving Payal Chilongi the chance to get in. And we've been talking about getting that scoring rate above a runner ball, which they have. There's also the individual interest of whether Naomi Hillman Bermejo can get to her 50. You played against her in your second match of the tournament, I think, which was her debut. Scored a very impressive 40-something. You mentioned your 25 years on the earth. She's only been around for 16.
Yeah. I think there's quite a lot of young players in this tournament, and they're putting an absolute shift in, to be fair, and showing us older ones how it's actually done.
The older ones, the 25-year-olds, yeah.
I'm pushing it now.
Well, we talked about age profiles of women's cricket to Thea on commentary yesterday, and she considers herself the elder stateswoman of her side at 29. As Payal Chilongia comes down the pitch, gives the umpire a bit of a look because it passed her above waist, but of course it's not where it passes the striker, it's where it would have passed the popping crease, or in fact did in that case, because she didn't manage to get bat on ball. So we're down to the last 2 balls. Naomi Hillman Bermejo unfortunately finds herself off strike. 3 might be a good result here. But, or even better, a wide with a run taken. Well, I was thinking 3 might be the best option, but just as I say that, there's an overthrow, an extra run for Spain, but it does mean that Naomi Hillman-Bermejo is still off strike. 3 runs coming up off that ball in total then, the wide plus the extra 2 run. Yep, unfortunately that was an error from the captain. She wasn't watching the play. Always watch the ball till it's dead. As once again we thought we would get Naomi Hillman-Bermejo back on strike here, but there's a misfield which allows 2. So barring extras, Hillman-Bermejo will be stranded on 47. Still the highest of her 3 scores, which have all been in the 40 plus region. And again, barring extras or a run out here, she will get another not out, which will take our average into the 120s. Heady stuff. Now, I've been told, as we just prepare for this last ball, Becky, that you're genuinely not shy. Is this true?
Well, it depends who you ask, really.
I always think that most people are naturally shy. It's just how they overcome it. Anyway, that's a discussion for another time. The Spain innings has come to a close. They've managed to get that score above the run-a-ball mark, 124. Hillman-Bermejo finishes on 47 of 42 balls. And Payal Chalongia on 27. They were the mainstays. Payal Chalongia actually opened the batting, but had to retire with an injury. Looked like it was to the ankle. We'll get confirmation of that during the break. You can see they were very much the 2 main contributors to that. Only one other double figure score, and that was exactly 10. So Spain will be happy with that. From what we've seen of Sweden, their batting is good in patches, but they haven't really found the consistency that they'd like in this tournament. So they'll probably be a bit concerned about that target. I don't like to make predictions, but I think that Spain right now will be the happier of the 2 sides. Would you agree with that, Becky?
Yeah, I'd have thought so.
Good. Well, we like succinct comments. That's very good. Allows us to take a break. I'm on my own all day today, barring illustrious guests. So I'm going to take the opportunity of that. And Becky, are you going to join me straight after the break?
Absolutely. Yep. Sounds like a plan to me.
And I'm looking forward to it. We will see you all then as preparations take place in the middle. as ever this tournament. Breakneck speed. We're already back up and running. The second innings, this chase for Sweden. Uswa Saeed. Already bowled a no ball in this over. And the free hit goes for 4. So promising start for Sweden. Kanchan Rana has been chosen to open the batting with Signe Lundell. I'll say that again, Signe Lundell. Got it wrong the first time. Signe never loses patience in repeating how her name is pronounced, which is a great help to me. Not being any way proficient in the Swedish language or its pronunciations. Looking to get a couple of them into the commentary box with me. As mentioned before the break, I've got a special guest already for this innings. 1 or 2. More of that at the end of the over. So, Sweden won't be overawed by this target of 125, but they will know that it's by no means straightforward, and they'll have to play very well to get there. Signe Lundell's had 1 good score, 1 low score so far in the tournament. Just a little bit tentative in her stroke play there, going back and prodding at the ball. Just uppish, poking at the ball. So a nervous start from Signe Lundell. Having said that, 7 off the over already, a healthy start for Sweden. As this is lofted straight of mid-wicket. 3 fielders initially set off for the ball. And 2 more, so that's 9 off the over. And as set up for the innings, I have a special guest with me for some, or even potentially all of this innings, depending on how entertaining she is, but I've heard that shouldn't be an issue. It's Becky Corkish.
The pressure's on now, the pressure is on.
No pressure at all. We're going to go on to talk about Isle of Man and cricket there, but we were alerted. I'm just checking who's opening the bowling here for Spain. It looks like it's Amy Brown Carrera, who's got a decent run-up. And why am I placing attention on the length of her run-up? Becky, I understand you have what could be termed a party piece. And, well, pressure not building at all. But well, it's almost a 3-pronged party piece, because not only, I believe, can you name all 50 US states. That's the first skill. Secondly, you can name them in alphabetical order, I understand.
Absolutely, yeah.
And thirdly, you can do it in under 30 seconds. Well, I've just checked Amy Brown Carrera's run-up, and it's not quite long enough for you to fit it in between balls, as is a run-out attempt here. I think with a direct hit we would have got the run-out, but well, as you'll know from cricket coverage in the commercial era, quite often there are 30-second adverts between overs. So I reckon, without getting a stopwatch on you, that's going to be your window of opportunity.
Sounds good to me.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. You tell me. Give me the go-ahead and I'll start.
Yep, you'll know. I'm not gonna leave you in any doubt.
Can't wait.
But you're poised, I can tell. So we're going to have to wait for 4 more balls for that to happen. And Amy Brown Carrera just lets that one slip down the leg side, just to increase the tension a little bit on the 50-state challenge. But actually, we've probably got time. Although we've got 30 seconds between balls, why did you acquire this skill? What was your motivation behind obtaining this as a party piece?
I think it became a common question at a pub quiz. So it was one of them things where you had obviously your pub quiz with all your questions throughout the evening, and a piece of paper would be on the table, and it would take the entire length of the pub quiz for people to get all 50 states. And we thought, wouldn't it be good if we could wrap them out dead quick on the piece of paper within about a minute of writing them down. So we did that, and it's the best thing to be able to do when they say whoever does it first gets another prize. And when you get them out in a minute, everyone's faces are shocked, and it's very satisfactory actually.
Okay, so I don't wish to be to sound critical, but are in the Isle of Man, are they short of quiz questions?
Yeah, we branch out to the wider world.
But it sounds to me that quiz questions are recycled.
Yes,
fairly
quite often. Yeah.
Okay, so to me, always, as Signe Lundell strokes that away very attractively into the offside. To me, the all-time, someone says, someone arrives from another planet and says, "What is a quiz?" And you explain to them, so this would be an archetypal quiz question. What to you is the archetypal quiz question? Because I've got a theory on what it is.
The archetypal quiz. I can't even say that word.
Archetypal.
Archetypal.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of
So
that.
what would be the classic model of a quiz question? As break off from that as the batter goes back and across, looks to shuffle it to leg, and is caught right in front. So that's the end for Kanchan Rana, which also brings into the over. So I don't know, we might have to delay your challenge because this is going to be well over 30 seconds before the next ball. So let's just talk about quizzes for maybe another over. To me, the quiz question, which is like the model of a quiz question, is for some reason always seems to be, what is the capital of Peru?
Oh no, this is not what I need. Countries are not my bag. The
Okay.
Isle of Man is very close net, you see.
Okay.
This is a.
So you can do 50 US states, which
Yeah.
are thousands of miles away, but countries
Oh.
is beyond your.
Yeah,
beyond
that's
your
pushing
ken.
it a little bit for me
Okay.
there.
So yeah, for some reason, and this crops up so it's such a cliche that when you actually come across it in an actual quiz, it's almost like you feel like the quiz master's taking the mickey.
Yeah.
Because I mean, to answer the question, the capital of Peru is Lima. But I was in a pub quiz a few years ago where, we were disappointed in we felt it was pitched at a younger age group when we turned up to the quiz, so we had to satisfy ourselves as that's lofted wonderfully straight at me. Oh!
That was
Yet
a
another misfield from Andrew Elliott.
terrible pick up there. Terrible.
As I reached down, went out of sight. I was a bit like a wicket keeper trying to take it down the leg side. It reappeared where I didn't want it to. That's the first shot in this tournament that's actually entered our commentary area. There have been a few that have been close, and I've had what I feel is my one chance. It's gone a begging. Anyway.
A few years ago, you'd have had that one, Andrew, I tell you.
Yeah, you obviously didn't see me field when I was younger, because I'm not convinced. Lovely shot, actually, but Signe Lundell. She follows up with a bit of a hack. So yeah, we were a pub quiz a few years ago, so it wasn't quite challenging us, and question came up. Lima is the capital of which country? Which we just thought was hilarious because we'd long since been established that it was almost the classic quiz question inverted, but it didn't make it any more difficult. But
No.
yeah, capital of Peru is Lima. I've been lucky enough to play and coach there. Correction, umpire and coach there. Didn't actually get to play there. I was still playing at that stage. So this has been a mixed bag this over. There's been a couple of glorious shots, at least 2 plays and misses, and we're only halfway through the over. And to follow that up, it's an edge. Some would say that's what you get with left-handers. A little bit of everything. Have you noticed the flies over here?
Yes.
Becky? They are
They're
insistent.
very annoying.
They are insistent, aren't they?
They never stop.
They won't take no for an answer. So this is a sprightly start to the run chase. Gunjan Shukla, the Norway captain, is the one to come in at number 3, and it's a short-lived innings because she has punched that ball straight to extra cover, and she's out first ball. Well, we are going to get a standard break between overs at some stage. There's one ball left in this one. Yeah, she's batted well at times in this tournament, Gunjan Shukla, but she has struggled for consistency. That's a second low score in 3 matches. This time the dreaded first baller. Rashmi Ganjagunte Somashekar is the new bat in. She'll have one ball to face in this over. Currently 18 for 2, so run rate good. Wickets lost not so much as she lofts this into the leg side to deep square leg for a single. Means the third over is finished with the score on 19 for 2 for Norway. And Becky, you're off.
Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, 34 to go. Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska's 27, number 28 is Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, LLC, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas and Utah, Vermont and more is through, Virginia and there's Washington and West Virginia too, because Wisconsin will be the last state, or is there 49? No, Wyoming is the last state in the 50 states that rhyme.
Wow, that was so quick I didn't really understand what you were doing.
I mean, there is a song, and I sing the song in my head and then say the states out loud.
Okay, so the numbers, I see, I wasn't expecting commentary during the 50 and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But was that you just checking you were at the right stage?
It was.
Or is that an aid memoir for you?
It's an aid to know where I'm up to make sure I don't lose my track.
Okay, so did you make any corrections there? Because it was so quick.
No, I didn't.
Did you make any mistakes?
Nope, no mistakes. Maybe just a wrong pronunciation from the pressure of making sure I get it in.
Yeah, I think I spotted that. I can't remember which one. I think it was somewhere in the ends, maybe.
Maybe. 7 M's. There's 7 M's.
7 M's.
Yes.
7 M's.
That's another popular quiz question.
And you don't just say that, you say them and they're precise. So if they 7 of them start with M, you then go to the second letter and all that, and you still do them in the right order, do you?
Yep. It's just ingrained in my head now.
Wow, that is comprehensively bowled. Well, she's played some lovely shots in this innings, Signe Lundell, but Amy Brown Carrera has got straight through her defences, middle stump out of the ground. As ever, a lovely sight for the bowler, and trouble here for Sweden, because they're now 20 for 3. Okay, so not sure whether this is a party piece or as such, but I have been reliably informed that you cannot resist a reaction if I say to you Caucasaurus rex.
Oh no! Can I do this on air? Can I do this
well,
on
I
air?
have checked with someone who's close to you and says that, yeah, it is broadcastable. Wow.
I can't believe they've done me over like that. They've done me dirty there. They've really done me dirty.
There are shrieks of laughter coming from the pavilion.
Not the one. I'm glad this isn't a video
away
interview.
from the players and match officials area, where they're obviously tuned into this coverage. With a small delay, there has been a spontaneous reaction from the pavilion. They obviously enjoy that. So even Mark Chappell, the umpire, seems to be having a little bit of a chuckle to himself as he walks back towards us. I don't think he spotted that the batter's left-handed, but I think you've distracted even the umpire there, because look, he's standing on the wrong side.
Oh God, I was always told that it was not hooligan sport cricket, and I think I've just changed that
Okay, so it's not like you don't have to do it every time I say it, but can you? Is there a story behind you responding to what I said with what you did?
It's just a fun little game that we decided to do a few years ago, where you put someone's name in a dinosaur name wherever you are, and you have to do it no matter what the situation is. Wherever you are, you have to go for it, and you have to do the full potential as well. No half a job's going.
Okay, well, I was expecting something eccentric, but and I wasn't disappointed. Let's put it that way.
If I wasn't tied with a cable on my head, then I could have gone further.
Okay, well, that's something we might end your time on the microphone with today. Perhaps you can do it, because I think the microphone will still pick it up, however far away you are.
Quite quiet, actually.
Well, that was quite quiet by your standards.
Yeah, that was actually quite shy for me.
Okay. Well, there's another one, a run out, and Sweden are collapsing here. Imali Jayasuriya going for the second run, direct hit, and Spain are absolutely delighted. I'm not sure they're as delighted as your teammates were when you did that live on air. Your, I'll call it your CR, because I don't want to provoke a repart. The CR. Okay, so 21 for 4 Sweden now. Although they started off well with the run rate, this is disastrous for them in the power play, as they're still in the 4th over and they've lost their 4th wicket. All right, Becky, as you apply the insect repellent, which is very necessary here, away from your party pieces, I'd like, before I talk about Isle of Man cricket, I would just like to talk a little bit about the Isle of Man, which is somewhere I haven't been fortunate enough to visit, although I am often available for cricket-related invitations. Just put that one in there.
I'll make sure that one gets back.
Well, we'll hopefully someone's listening as well. Someone from the Isle of Man hopefully is listening, although more so later. So first of all, just to fill you in, and anyone else who wasn't aware, the last extended bit of commentary I did was in Jersey in August for the ICC World Challenge League B. And I hadn't been to Jersey since I was 7, so that had been a couple of years. And well, I learnt a bit more about Jersey. And so I'm going to compare and contrast, first of all, and let you know what I know. Obviously, apart from the weather, which I assume is better in Jersey than it is in Isle of Man, on average, throughout the year. Now, Jersey isn't part of the UK, but Isle of Man is, as far as I'm aware. So I don't know how much you know about politics in Jersey.
No, the Isle of Man has its own government, so we're classed as our own little nation.
Okay.
So we have our own currency. We're classed as basically within all the Channel Islands. So yeah, because we've got our own government, our own currency. We decided to branch off and become our own little independent little place. We do have a British passport though, which does throw me off actually.
Okay.
And don't ask me why, because I can't actually understand that myself. I'd quite enjoy a Manx passport. I think it is Manx, but it's named British Isle. Okay,
and I understand that the Manx pound, I believe that's what it's known as.
Yes, the Manx pound
is tagged at 1-to-1 to the GBP. Is that right?
It is, yeah. And
to the pound sterling.
Yeah, we can spend our money on the Isle of Man, and we can also spend English money on the Isle of Man, but you can't spend Manx money in England.
Right.
Which is very confusing when you go on holiday, because they all look the same.
Yeah.
There's not much difference in it, really.
Yeah, so they're pegged at 1-to-1. So that's similar to the system in Gibraltar, where I was also earlier this year, which is also not part of the UK, but it's classified as a... Have we got an LBW appeal here? Not given. So is it places such as Gibraltar, Jersey, Falkland Islands, for example, they're classified as British overseas territories? Is that the classification of the Isle of Man as well?
I don't know. You're asking me a question here that I'm not sure of the answer.
Gosh, I think you've oversold yourself here with your back to front knowledge of...
I'm more of the cultural side as opposed to the
we'll move
political
on to that.
side.
We'll move on to that. I'm not much of a politician
I'm
myself.
a farmer, you see.
Right.
I come from a farming background.
Okay.
Bless you.
Thank you. I was trying to hide it, but
Oh, sorry.
I wasn't sure whether we picked up on the microphone.
So sorry. Just outed you on the air. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's quite all right. Crept up on me as well. All right. So you mentioned the cultural side. We've got a run-out chance here, and that looks like it's comfortably out. So things going from bad to worse here. And as you often see with a run-out, there seems to be some type of long-distance conversation going on between the two batters, finding out who to blame. But yeah, Sweden have rather got stuck here. In fact, I thought with the previous run-out, I thought they were run-out taking the second. The score is still on 20, and that's the 5th wicket down now. So it's a long uphill battle here for Sweden. They'll be disappointed to make an understatement about this start. Right, so you mentioned culture. I remember when I was still a boy. I think I was. Were you a Blue Peter fan when you were growing up?
Yeah, if you watched a few on the telly, yeah.
Yeah, watched a few. So I remember on Blue Peter, they were interviewing, and he was quite an elderly gentleman. So you can't say it's extremely unlikely he's around anymore. But he was, according to Blue Peter, he was the last ever native Manx speaker as a first language, and I'm pretty sure he passed away a few years later. But there's been a wave, there's been a comeback, hasn't there, for the Manx language? I think I've read. Is that true?
There has, yeah. So we have a primary school on the Isle of Man. So we've only got there's not many of them actually. There's probably around 25 primary schools on the Isle of Man, and one of them is primarily a Manx speaking school where you go and they speak Manx as their first language. So it's becoming back a thing again that people are starting to learn Manx, but I think people do tend to spend more time learning Spanish and the classic languages in high school, because it is more helpful for when you obviously go on holiday and go abroad. But yeah, it's nice to see that the Manx language is coming back again. Yeah,
that's good news, but obviously for all of them, none of those are speaking it as a... So Blue Peter were right all those years ago. That
they were, yeah.
There's no one left who speaks it as a first language.
Not as a first language, no.
Which is a great shame. And I understand that it's kind of in the same language family as things like Gaelic and Welsh and Cornish.
Yeah, it's very
Breton
similar to Gaelic.
Like that. Yeah. Okay. Do you speak any yourself?
I can do little bit buzzwords, but I couldn't put a sentence together anyway.
Okay. So odd word here and there. Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little bit about that background. Now, I've noticed just wandering around the resort since you arrived here before the weekend, a lot of you seem to, I would say, the accent that you have is similar to sort of northwest England.
Okay.
Is that a fair point to make?
Yeah, I think our accent is. People tend to say that we're a mixture between Liverpool and Ireland. There's like a little bit of a Scouse twang in there as well as Irish. Yep. So it is a bit of a mix, but the older generation tend to be a very broad Manx accent, and the younger generation, it does kind of tailor out a little bit.
Okay.
Probably from watching too much TikTok, really.
So, obviously, they've got a lot to answer for, TikTok.
It has, yes.
So when you say broad, how would you describe a broad? Can you do an impression of a broad Manx accent?
Yeah, I can.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's wait to see this ball bowled by Amy Brown Carrera, which is down the leg side for a wide. Okay. So give me an example of a broad Manx accent from the older generation.
So my dad is a broad Manx farmer, and he'd be saying that he's going out to milk the cows today, and they're out on the grass.
Yeah, that is quite different from your accent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot broader.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's an accent I can't say I've ever heard in my life. So.
Very unique to people from the Isle of Man.
Okay. Well, yeah. Just to reiterate, I do umpire as well as commentate, and I coach a bit. Just putting it out there. Would love a visit to get involved a little bit cricket in the Isle of Man.
I'll speak to my contacts, don't worry.
So thank you. So before I talk about cricket specifically in the Isle of Man, you mentioned the terrain being quite mountainous. I assume the capital Douglas is is in a fairly flat part of the island, but otherwise would that be right?
It is, yeah. So Douglas is the capital of the Isle of Man, which we like to call the Big Smoke.
Okay.
It's actually tiny compared to anywhere else. We've got one little shopping centre street, which has got about 4 shops on. We recently...
You're talking about the capital. It's got one street with 4 shops on.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
There is swimming
That
pool.
puts things in perspective, right? Okay.
There's a swimming pool there too.
Indoor or outdoor?
Indoor, just the one. Just the
Okay.
one. So yeah, and then when you branch out to the rest of the Isle of Man, it does hit more of the countryside. So there is a lot of hills, mountains. It's nice really. There's lots of very scenic views. I think a lot of people come to the Isle of Man for the views and not really the weather. But when the weather does hold out in the summer, if we do get a good spell, it is a beautiful place to go really.
Yeah. So you can't count on the summer, but it comes and goes, does it? The summer?
It does, and when it comes, it comes well. It can be very, very hot. I say very hot for us anyway. Maybe hitting the 20, 23 on a good day.
I'm sure it gets up to 25 occasionally.
Oh God, well I think everyone goes inside then because it's just far too hot for us. But yeah, most of the time it is absolutely lashing it down, windy, gale force winds, thunder and lightning.
Essential to have an extensive winter wardrobe?
Yeah. I mean, we've all whacked our shorts out this week for the weekend that we're here, and even when we arrived on the Thursday, we had thunder and lightning was out, but we were still in the rain, but it was warm rain, so we were still in shorts and a t-shirt because it was
I
a
noticed in the
difference.
Crocodile Club there's a few milk bottles hanging out to dry.
Yeah.
But you could tell which were the side from the northern part of Europe, which get the least sunshine, because obviously that Sweden and Norway, although they have very dark winters, very short days, they do have quite bright summers. Whereas Isle of Man, I imagine it's a bit exposed there in the middle of the Irish Sea.
It is, yeah, it is, and it affects the travel a lot as well. I mean, obviously with the wind and the rain, we can only get a ferry off the island or the odd plane from the airport, so it does affect travel often with the bad weather. So it was nice that we actually got away and got to get here for the competition.
So in good weather, there are good air links out of Douglas Airport, presumably?
Nope, the airport is down in Castletown, which is at the southern of the island.
Okay.
Yep, so it's about a 20-minute flight to the UK if you're going to Liverpool. By the time you've got your seatbelt on and you open your eyes, you're basically landing again. It doesn't take very long at all.
Okay, but other destinations are available direct?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, doing a plug there.
Okay. And so how many flights a day roughly do you reckon would go out of the airport?
Oh God, maybe about 10 or 11.
Okay. And all to other parts of the archipelago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so nothing direct to Europe then?
No, I think they are looking. They used to
Not to
have
the mainland.
direct flights a few years ago, but it just turned out to be an Isle of Man group holiday because everyone would book on the same flight, so you'd be on the flight with your cousin that you didn't know was going.
Okay, that sounds quite fun.
Well, depends.
Is everyone on the island a cousin?
Essentially, yeah. It depends if you're a Manx person. And depending on your Manx name, you depend whether how many cousins or relatives you've actually got on the island.
So are there any cousins in this squad, for example, with different surnames?
Well, me and Kira Buchan, the Buckaroo, me and her are actually third cousins.
Third? That's
We are
quite
third
distant.
cousins, quite
Yeah.
distant, but
Yeah.
there's no immediate family there anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so anyone else? Anyone else within the squad related distantly?
Not that I know of. No, this might be something I go back and ask them actually, because I bet you there are a few.
So I think from memory, third cousins means you share a great-great-grandparent. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's where it lies.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's good to know. Right, so we should talk about cricket on the island a little bit more, because we seem to have covered all other topics. So let's first of all, how many clubs are there on the island?
I think there's probably about 7 or 8 maybe. And this is my first time playing cricket, so we're trying to obviously trying to pick it up as much as possible. But yeah, there's a few clubs anyway.
Okay, so around about 5 clubs. So you might have maybe all 5 of those clubs got men's and women's sections?
I don't think so, no. So we did in the summer, we had a summer league, a softball league, which was basically driven to try and encourage the women participation within cricket.
Okay.
Obviously with the Isle of Man being such a close-knit community, it was quite easy to pick up a lot of footballers, a lot of hockey players. A lot of our first sports are actually football or hockey.
Yep.
And obviously some of them, their first sports are cricket, but with obviously everybody knowing everybody, it was quite easy for them to say, come on down, have a go at the softball league, which we did. And it was a great success, really. So it was a massive shout out to Greg and Sally for setting that up and getting the participation levels high, because they've done a great job of it. And it's obviously led us to put our first international women's team out there to actually play as the Isle of Man, and it's been a great experience and many firsts that have been had, actually. So I'm sure Greg will be very happy to have them wrote down in his little book to bring back to the Isle of Man.
Oh, well, Greg's been very helpful to us too with coming up with your player profiles, which have allowed us to add some interest, as there's a chance here to the keeper, a sky chance, who keeper wearing a helmet standing back, which you don't see all that often, but couldn't quite travel the distance to get there. So, well, I can't see you call it a recovery, but having lost so many wickets on the score on 20, Sweden will be relieved to have got to 26 without further loss, but they're making pretty heavy weather of this chase. So, from what you describe, I can imagine that maybe there are as many as 100, 150 people playing on the Isle of Man regularly or semi-regularly. Would that be a fair estimation, given the number of clubs?
Yeah, I'd have thought so, yeah. Yeah, so it is nice to see that we've obviously got the women's side going. So we had, with the softball league, there were quite a few new teams that were put in. So hopefully, obviously after this, and the coverage of this has been brilliant as well back at home, and it's encouraged a lot of the other girls at home. They've been messaging in saying that they've been loving it and wishing they were here as well, and they're going to try for next time. A big shout out to Emma Miller as well from PSJ up the Johnners. She couldn't make it this time because of other commitments and
Emma
work,
Miller.
basically. Yeah, Emma Miller.
Yeah, that's good.
She'd have been a great asset to our team.
That's good. I've already called Sienna Miller today, so you mentioning Emma Miller is just going to make me even more confused. So thanks for that.
Maybe it's a cousin. Could be a cousin.
Could be a cousin. Could be a cousin. So junior sections. Would all 5 of those clubs have a junior section with coaching? Yeah,
the junior setup is really good on the Isle of Man. Again, big shout out to Greg and Sally for that. They do keep that ticking over nicely in the summer, and they constantly having youngsters coming through and picking up a bat and ball and giving it a go, and a lot of them are sticking around with it. There's a lot of young kids from the girls on our team that are really good cricket players, and they're always there at the matches watching their dads or the mums, and yeah, you see them knocking a ball around and you think, yeah, they'll definitely be in the team when they're older anyway.
Oh, just a desperate effort on the boundary. Third man, that ball carved away. It was well chased. Just down to third man. Got a hand on it, but couldn't get quite enough on it to haul it back in, and the ball trickled over the rope. So a boundary for Sweden. Things are starting to look a little bit up for them, but I'll repeat, it's a very, very tall ask from here. Okay, so Greg's your Chief Development Officer, I understand, for the Isle of Man cricket.
He is, yeah, he's the main man.
And you came through the softball route.
I did, yeah.
And is that a route that Greg looks to get people to take the same route that you have to the national side?
I think so. I think it's a good way to get girls involved that have never actually never had experience with it before. I think facing a hard ball straight away, it could be quite worrying, really, because let's be real, it is hard when you catch your first one, isn't it? It's a bit different to a softball. So yeah. I think starting out on a softball is a good way to entice people into playing until they get the confidence to then turn to the hard ball anyway.
Yep, or cricket ball, as I prefer to call it. Neuro-linguistic programming when I'm getting young kids. Sometimes they're just put off by the expression hard ball, so I tend to try and call it a cricket ball because that's the name of the sport. Play tennis with a tennis ball and golf with a golf ball, don't you? So there you go. So don't necessarily think of it as a hard ball. It is quite hard. It does hurt if you get it in the wrong place, but if you get it on the right place, i.e. your hands, it doesn't hurt so much. But it's great to hear the work that Greg's doing, and Sally and everyone else involved. So your debut is in this tournament?
It is, yeah.
You've played one of the games so far, is that right?
I have, yeah. I played in the first game. Oh no, sorry, I played 2 actually.
Played 2. Oh, we've got another wicket. As that's floated, Powell Chilungia floats it up outside the off stump, just turns it back. And there's an optimistic, well, Once again, we see a batter dismissed in this tournament, and it's very confusing for us for us commentators when they walk straight towards their partner. I'm wondering if I've missed a free hit. Have I missed a free hit? She's still not leaving. What have I missed here? Any input for me, Becky?
No, I'm trying to work it out myself. She's going back though.
Okay, well, there was such a huge celebration from the Spain team, and I've often said this weekend that I love. Well, it looks like there was a no ball before that one, which having you here has just taken me away from that. We're going to have a toss in about 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes for the next match. So I'm going to have to bid you farewell before that, but are you okay to stay for another over or so?
Yeah, sounds good to me. If you're happy to have me.
Very happy. We don't think we're going to let you go without the CR rendition.
Oh no.
But I think this time probably with the microphone not so close to you.
I think so. I think the viewers at home might be a bit deaf now. Sorry.
Certainly would have woken them up to the fact that I've got a guest here with me, as for the majority of the first innings of the day I droned my way through.
I hope I didn't put the players off.
Well, you brought a smile to the face of Mark Chappell,
And that's all
the
that
umpire,
matters.
the
Job
umpire at
done.
this end. So it's Naomi Hillman Bermejo, who's now bowling from the Crocodile Club end. And as I mentioned, the Crocodile Club, I'm assuming this is your first visit to Desert Springs.
It is, yeah. We've never been here before, so.
Been to Spain before?
Yeah, it's been to Spain a few times.
Okay, so how would you describe the Desert Springs resort to people who've never been here, but maybe are just watching this coverage at the moment and can see the green outfield? How would you describe the rest of the resort?
It's lovely. It's a really nice place, to be fair. I'm not sure if you've ever watched the Disney film Encanto, but it's very much like an Encanto film set. It's lovely. It's all little. It's like little Spanish villagey villas that we're staying in. So they're really lovely. It's a really lovely place.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of the British Isles stuck into Spain, isn't it? Because almost all the staff speak English here.
Yeah.
So at varying levels, as you'd imagine, but they're very helpful. Staff, especially in the Crocodile Club, where we have our meals. So I know that everyone at Cricket Hispania is very pleased with this tournament, and there are already talks underway about organising others. So hopefully Isle of Man will be both invited and be available to come back.
Yeah, definitely.
So that we can plot your development.
Absolutely, it'd definitely be something we'd love to join again anyway.
This is lofted over mid-wicket. Well, still a long way to go for Sweden in this match. And it's just got a little bit more difficult there, as the left-hander looks to get across and work that way to the leg side, but ends up getting bowled behind her legs. Megana Alagunula, who is also the Sweden wicketkeeper, so she's the sixth one out. And as the next batter comes out, I'm going to take the opportunity to thank you, Becky, for joining us this morning
Thanks for having me on.
and making the coverage all that more entertaining. I'm going to ask you to remove your headphones.
Oh,
So they're not quite. Yeah, I think we can definitely say they've been removed there, as you would have heard on the effects. And just as you stand up, I'm just going to say to you, just to show this, this is not quite so scary if it's not coming quite so strongly through my ears. I'm just going to say to you, Corkysaurus Rex. Fantastic. Well, thanks for that, Becky.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful to have you visit us. And our thoughts shortly will be turning towards the toss for the second match between Spain and Italy. It's a full toss by Naomi Hillman Bermejo. A bit of radio silence as we just setting up the toss for the next match. Things being reset on the field. Four runs down to long leg. Off the bat of Iman Asim. Just trying to get their way out of this quite desperate situation for Sweden. They find themselves 42 for 6. Arif Malik, who is one of the candidates to do the toss in place of Elspeth Fowler, who's out there captaining. Back-to-back matches for Spain, with them being in the field, means that Elspeth would have nominated someone else to take the toss for her. Remains to be seen who that is. There's a wide. Shuffled across, and understandably bowler interested in LBW there, but suspect it might have pitched outside leg stump. Just watching at just to see who's going to come off the field for Spain to take the toss. A substitute running on, player running off. So we will very shortly be changing to our mobile coverage of this tournament, this ICC Women's 2020 International Pentagonal Series. Quinquelateral is another term that you can use. It's been used on occasions for this tournament, mainly by me. I'm Andrew Elliott, bringing you coverage of this fourth and final day of the tournament, with the hosts currently in the field up against Sweden. So this is breaking into new territory here, as I'm on my own on commentary today, so multitasking, so just bear with me as we switch from our static coverage to mobile coverage, and we will be bringing you the toss at the end of this over. Three dots so far in this over from Naomi Hillman Bermejo. And make that 4. Testing for the top. Captain Kabudu. Lifts the butt. Standing in for Elspeth Fowler. Toss. Standing in. Captain Kabudu. Equally unbeaten so far. Ready for the toss here as play goes on out in the middle. Very important game. So far unbeaten. 3 wins in this. So ready for the top here. Looks like we have got a big decider here, as we're going to have two unbeaten teams by the looks of things in Spain and Italy as I watch the play going on behind me. We've got the two captains. We've got Captain Kamuda here from Italy. We've got Hifsa Butt of Spain, who's standing in for Elspeth Fowler because she's out there fielding at the moment, pushing for this third victory. Before we have the toss, I understand you've got a presentation there to make to Kamudu and to Cricket Italy. If we can have a look at that, please feel free to open it. A lovely plaque as we move the Polestar in there. So commemorating this match between Spain and Italy, which is going to be the 11th match of this tournament. So, if I can just take that away from you, so you're free. I'm hoping that one of you's brought a coin with you. This is live television, folks. Okay, so Hifsa, you're going to throw the coin nice and high. Kamudu.
Who's going to be called?
So you're going to throw it nice and high. If you call, please, Kamudu. And it's ahead, so Spain have won the toss. If you can come and say again. It's a tail. Apologies. Okay.
I'm on the top.
Apologies. So, Kamudu, what are you going to do?
So same thing. We are looking to do our best in the batting side, and they also won the all matches. So we try to put them under pressure and to do our best things.
Best luck in the match. We're going to keep the chats a little bit short as we've still got a match going on. Hifsa, if you come and have a quick word. I know that you're not the captain for this match, but unfortunately you haven't managed to win the toss on behalf of your captain. So what do you think of the decision of the Italy captain there?
Yeah, it's really smart decision. So we will try to do our best, and so we will fielding first. So we will try to do our best in the field, and then we will come batting.
Lovely, thank you for that. So, recap, Italy have won the toss for this next match, and they're going to have a bat. Well, possibly wasn't multitasking its best, but we got the job done. Just to confirm, Italy have won the toss and chosen to bat in the next game, which will follow straight after this one. It's increasingly looking like Spain are going to come out on top in this match against Sweden. That means the two unbeaten sides in the tournament are going to come up against each other in a match that will effectively decide who wins this quinquilateral tournament, involving Spain, the hosts, Italy, their next opponents, Sweden, their current opponents, and Isle of Man, who will play in the last match of the day, and Norway, who've already completed their matches. Lofted wide of mid-on, and well, late decision to go for the two, goes to the keeper's end, but it's a wild throw over the top, and eventually looked like disaster was about to befall the two batters, but they get home safely. And Yovaja slashes the ball backward a square on the offside. To pass the strike back to Iman Asim. Just a time check. Next match is due to start in just over 20 minutes time, but we have got 6.5 overs potentially to get through here in this match. And as ever during this tournament, thanks to the generosity and flexibility of the ICC, matches have been allowed to be moved around slightly to give ourselves the best chance of getting all 3 matches in. We are deep into autumn here. Daylight only just exceeding 10 hours at this time of year here at Desert Springs, as this is punched through the offside. It's well timed, but should be cut off. Elspeth Fowler chasing after the ball, but no need as the sweeper came round to cut that off. 2 more onto the total. Well, that was hit nicely down the ground. Uswa Saeed looked like she got behind it, but got through. 4 runs, so some hope for Sweden in that over. Still a long way to go, and time running out for them. 12 off the over from Ahmed Iqbal. And gets their score up to 61 for 6 after 14 overs. See the caption on the screen there telling you the required run rate, 10 2/3 per over. It's doable off 1 over, but to sustain that for 6 overs with only 4 wickets at hand, very tricky indeed. We're going to see Payal Chilongia bowl from the better end of the ground. This is lofted and really well caught. That is a lovely catch by Captain Elspeth Fowler. That was well above her head. She is a tall lady. She stretched above, took it comfortably. Nice to see. So that is the 7th wicket down for Sweden. And looks to me like it's going to bring Sienna Linden to the crease, who has struggled with the bat so far. Scored just 1 run in 2 innings. And has just slipped gradually down the order. She's coming out at number 9 on this occasion. And, well, struggles with the bat continuously. She doesn't go where she intended at all. In fact, didn't get any bat on it. Looking for something towards us at extra cover, but missed, as did the keeper. And it was Iman Asim, the last batter out. Well, that's been called a no ball. I can only think that pitched off the pitch. Just remind you that commentary position is at deep extra cover, and throughout the tournament we've been looking at the live action rather than the monitor, so we don't see what you see. We try to bring you the things that you can't. As that's hit all the way out to deep mid-wicket on the line. Good throw in, only one run coming. Perhaps they could have pushed for two. Along with my last 3 days, my co-commentator Thea Brooks, I'd like to see the batters having a go at those instead of just leaving them and taking the wide. It's very unlikely they're going to be out, so it's a virtual free hit. Last over for Payal Chilongia. And with those 2 runs, Sienna Linden brings up her highest score of the tournament. She's on to 2 not out. And there are more to come. There's a bit of foot fielding, actually worked out quite well in the end. Doesn't look the prettiest foot fielding, but came up nicely into the hands on that occasion. And Sienna Linden takes the strike with that single as it's the end of the 15th over. Sweden on to 68 for 7. Anja Vadia still there to keep her company. Of course, the 2 of them visited commentary position a couple of days ago. We're in full flow and they both got called away to a team meeting. So we were just getting into our stride with Sienna. Anja never got onto the microphone, but we're hoping that, well, they're playing 2 matches today. We're hoping that we can avoid clashes with their team meeting and get them on during the next match. That'll be good fun to find out a bit more about cricket in Sweden and about their personal journeys to getting into the national side. There's another wide there, which no shot attempted. Rabia Ahmed Iqbal bowling her 2nd over, so she's gone for 13 so far off 6 legitimate balls. A double lifting of the arm, reminiscent of Lance Cairns all those years ago. The double lifting of the arm and then the full whirl through. That's a big full toss, called as such, so we're going to get a free hit. Sienna Linden to receive free hit. There's a chance for her to break the shackles. And gets hit on the pad, I think. Just check with umpire Nilkesh Patel. No contact made at all. That was a bye. So just made the mistake, really. Seeing that so many have before her have just a little bit overexcited about the full toss and lifting the head. and forgetting to keep her balance and almost swinging herself off her feet. And Yavadia back into normal play. This is short, and well, it was low bouncing, it was dropping for a second time, but Yavadia timed it well into the leg side. Full start, someone wasn't ready. Got Jasprit Grankar fielding in front of us. Slightly obscuring the view. Ball's hit away for a single, taking Sienna Linden onto 4. And Yavadia, she's got herself up to 15. And that is as far as she'll go, because looking to force that through the offside, she's got her inside bottom edge, which has just dribbled onto her leg stump. That's the 8th wicket down for Sweden in the 16th over. So this stage, not only Spain, but the organisers will hope that they can take these last 2 wickets quickly, so that we keep on schedule for the day. Match will overrun if it goes the distance. Scheduled to finish at 12:10 this match, but with the slight awkward situation, the next match is beginning at 12 o'clock. Schedule on the same pitch, so this is something that was generously sanctioned by the ICC to try and get as much cricket as possible for these developing nations in women's cricket. The impetus very much on getting out on the park. They're here. 4 teams have flown here, and all of the Spain team have come on long rail trips. Around 2/3 of the squad from Barcelona, which is some 7 or 8 hours away by car, and not quite sure as regards train journeys. I know there's some high-speed trains, but still a lot of distance to cover. Looks like we've got an unofficial drinks break here, and yeah, I'm looking at the 2 umpires, and they're both looking at each other. One's shrugging their shoulders, one's waving his arms, and they're saying, well, it looks like they're saying, excuse me, no drinks breaks in this competition, we've got to get through the game. And subs have been sent off, seem to take it upon themselves to come on there, and umpires weren't happy about it, and I'll back them up on that. Russell Saeed is returning after the end of Payal Chilongia's spell. She's taken 1 for 16 so far off 2 overs. That's another wide. I'd like to see Sienna Linden having a go at those. It's an opportunity for 4 runs. Okay, she's got the 1 run and the extra ball, but to me, and now off the ball, which is straighter. She's gone for a more difficult shot, skied it in the air, but fortunately for her, hasn't gone to a fielder. This leg side, offside's different because difficult to control the wide ball outside off stump, difficult to get on top of, and also there are more fielders on the offside generally. The leg side wide, we've said it a lot during this tournament. LBW's out of the equation. Extremely unlucky to play it on and get bowled. And there's generally only one fielder behind square on the leg side, so you'd be unlucky to pick that fielder out as well in the air and get caught. So not a complete free hit. It's percentages wise suggest it's the right shot to play, as Sienna Linden goes for the slog sweep. Times it well, but it holds up just a bit in this morning outfield. Looked initially as it was going to speed away for 4, just 2 runs resulting. And that's a chance taken by Payal Chilungia. Was paddled into the leg side, more elevation than distance, and well, one thing you can say about that innings by Sienna Linden is she's comfortably outperformed the other 2 innings, where she got 0-1, including a first baller. She is the 9th wicket to fall. In the 17th over of this reply from Sweden. Looks like they're going to fall well short in this match. Nisha Kayani is the last bat in this match. Potential 3 legal balls to face in this over to get through the 17th. And she plays that nicely on the up. Wide of mid-off. Runs around and cuts it off, so she's off the mark straight away. And just wondering, actually, I've just noticed that actually that was just checking this. Was Sophie El-Nasiu, who came in at number 10, but she hadn't faced a ball. Right, she goes for that. There's a run out chance here. It could be the end of the match, and it is. Nisha Kayani is run out. Going for a single. There was an appeal which may have been distracting. And Spain very, very happy about their performance. They have gone unbeaten into their final match, where they will face the similarly unbeaten Italy. Italy having elected to bat first in that match. Victory in this one by 43 runs, so comprehensive by Spain. They outplayed Norway in this one. Bowled them out off the last ball of the 17th over. Organisers will be pleased with that. They've probably just managed to steal another 15 minutes back into the day. It's not long before we'll be underway in the next match, so I'm going to leave you to digest the statistics on your screen as I get ready for that one on this marathon day of cricket, final day of this ICC Women's 2020 International Pentagonal Tournament Quinquilateral Series in Desert Springs. All to play for in the next match will be the match will decide the winners of this tournament, and I look forward to your company in a few minutes.